Hey, what's up, everybody? It's episode number 49 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is locally owned, it's made to order, it's my favorite coffee roaster in Iowa, and it's pretty much my favorite coffee I've found so far in the long amount of time I've been drinking a lot of coffee. And lately it's just been all Couchtown all the way. It's my favorite coffee I've had in recent memory easily. It's roasted when you order it, and that's not just for me. I mean, it's roasted for you when you order it too. Andrew Chipman, who does all the roasting there at Couchtown Coffee, he hand selects the order for you. He roasts it how you want it roasted, and he sends it out to you. It's made by hand with love, hand selected to order. It's pretty awesome operation, really, and it's right here in Iowa. It's kind of crazy that that exists, but it's the internet, and Andrew's got a passion for this, and it's kind of crazy. So him and I have partnered up here to bring this episode to you, and it's because he loves coffee so much that he does this, and he also loves music, so he just figured it'd be a nice pairing, and I thought this is going to be a great deal. So we came together to bring you not only a sponsorship for the podcast, but we also bringing you 20% off. So in order to find the coffee, first off, you got to go to www.couchtowncoffee.com. I've got a link down below, or if you can go to facebook.com/couchtowncoffee, and you can find the coffee at couchtowncoffee.com. Go to the Our Coffees link and check it out. You can find what coffee they have there and how to order it. Send an email, and it's really great. It's kind of a cool thing. I like to have the coffee every morning. I make cold brew with it as well. It's really good. The Colombian's probably my favorite. The Colombia one is a really good one. So this week, if you make an order this week, and by this week I mean from the day this episode comes out, which is, I'm looking for a calendar here. All right, this episode's going to come out on the 22nd. So, today is the 22nd. No, so the 22nd through the 28th. If you make an order for Couchtown Coffee on the 22nd through the 28th of August in 2019, the week this episode airs, and you enter the code word rock picnic. That's rock and then an N, rockin', rock space N space picnic. The code word's down below in the description if it's too ridiculous for anybody to see. But this week's code word is Rockin' Picnic. It'll save you 20% at couchtowncoffee.com. So go to www.couchtowncoffee.com and check out the coffee they got there. All right, this week's episode, I got Scott Dahl on here, and Scott Dahl is here to talk about one thing, and I bet you guessed what it is based on the code word this week, and the Rockin' Picnic is what it is. Scott's been on the podcast one other time. If you haven't listened to that episode, I highly suggest going back and listening to that episode. But this week, we're talking all about Rockin' Picnic, what it is. It's a little music concert they got in Humboldt, and it's not really that little anymore. I mean, I've been lucky enough to actually play at the Rockin' Picnic a couple of years, and I play at the beginning of the show, just kind of to warm everybody up. And I'll tell you what, it's already pretty intimidating how packed the place gets fresh off the bat. But as the night progresses, it gets pretty crazy. I can't believe that Humboldt, Iowa, has something like that goes on. We're really lucky to have it. But anyways, I'm going to get into more of that with the podcast, because Scott just comes over and he talks about all sorts of good things, what happens at the picnic, who goes into helping it, how it's set up, who's been there, who's coming this year, etc., etc. I don't need to talk any more about it because that's all we're talking about in the podcast. So I'll tell you what, let's get down to it. Don't forget to enter that Couchtown Coffee code. It's Rockin' Picnic. It'll save you 20%. And here we go. Scott Dahl and the Rockin' Picnic.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right. right, sitting down today. I got Scott Dahl with me again, and we're going to try and take a different avenue on this one. And you're here to talk about something specific today. What are you here to talk about with me?
I'm here to promote the 11th annual Rockin' Picnic held here in Humboldt, Iowa.
All right, yeah, I'm from Humboldt. This is kind of where I was born and raised. And are you from Humboldt originally?
I grew up in a city called Rutland. It's the suburbs of Humboldt.
Nicely done. Look it up on a map if you don't get the joke. So you grew up in Rutland, but so it's pretty close to home. So we both have pretty strong ties to this. But you are involved in this actually. Like, on how many years have you been involved with it?
This is my 7th year of helping them out.
All right. So what do you do for the Rockin' Picnic? Not to be like, what do you do for them? But what do you do for them, man?
They've welcomed me in. I had gone to the very first 3 picnics, and I took my family out there.
Yep.
And we did it just like you see on TV. My kids, I was out there throwing the football and the frisbees, listening to music out in the middle of the park. And,
Yep.
And about the 5th year, I asked them, what can I do? Obviously, I'm not playing in a band that you're interested in having play out here.
Yeah.
What can I do to help? And they said, well, do you know anything about running a stage?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I've never done it, but I got a good idea what you got to do.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Since that day, I have run the stage for them, getting bands on and off, making sure everything clicks right, and they also drafted me as their MC.
Yep.
And the first year I did that, the first couple hours, boy, I was nervous as shit.
Oh yeah.
I was nervous up there talking to all these people, and then
there's a lot of people that go to this thing. Like,
Exactly.
believe it or not, even early, like right at the beginning, it's like we're starting at 2. There's like already like 200 plus people there. Sometimes It's wild.
So by the end of that night, though, after I was, the 6th or 8th time of getting up there announcing, man, I couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
And it's been that way ever since. I can't wait to get up there and talk to the crowd.
Exactly.
I stutter, I stumble once in a while because it is a nervous thing when you're up there. But to be able to know that you're bringing pleasure to these people
Exactly.
by introducing the bands and hyping them up,
Yep.
and firing up the crowd if you can, and trying to promote all your supporters and that, it's just a great thing that I can't wait to get back and do it again.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun. Like, public speaking is rough. I'll tell you, Jerry Seinfeld had a bit about it, something like when they had like the biggest fears in life. Number 1 was public speaking, and number 2 was death. So people would rather die than go do public speaking. So public speaking's tough, but I also get what you're saying, where you just like want to play hype man, because that's like all I do here for an hour a week. Just like, let's talk about this stuff because it's fun.
It's cool to know that all those bands, 5 guys here, 4 there, 6 there, whatever it is, and the sound people, everybody's counting on me and my group. I've got 3 or 4 people that come in and help me. They're all counting on me to help them.
Oh, there's a mouse in the corner of my room. This is classy. So if you hear me freaking out, it's a mouse. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Where were we?
You got a bunch of people that rely on you to help make this thing go smoothly.
And it's so satisfying when the night is done. And we've had everything from absolute perfect weather for the perfect show. We had a monsoon come through one time.
Yeah, I remember it.
In a
being
matter
really
of
bad
2
weather.
minutes, we went from sunshine to absolute near tornado coming through.
Yeah, I do remember that happening. That's been 11 years that this has been going on, and I remember going to one of them that was early, maybe number 4, the 4th year, and it wasn't until the year prior to you asking me play that I had come back. But every year, it's 2 years in a row now I've gone since that I've had to play, and I'm going to go next year because this is going to be great next year. I can't wait for it.
We try to do. We try to keep it local with local bands, and we try to get a headliner in, or somebody that people are going to that's going to be a draw. I apologize for stuttering, trying to figure out my words here.
No, I totally get what you're saying though. You gotta have somebody big come.
Yes, and we've had a guy from Nashville. He's actually from Alabama. Come up. Jacob Stiefel was our show one year, and just killed us.
Yeah.
Absolute killer Southern fried rock and roll.
Yeah, dude.
And we've had the local class of 1973 Lazy River Band close for us a couple times. That's when our monsoon came through.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. I remember that.
And we've also had the local bands. I've had for the Saturday night show, we have a little Cajun Boil, and there's been a couple times that I couldn't scrounge up a band, and then ended up hiring my own, which is it's tough to play both sides of the fence here as a booker and a musician.
Yeah,
I do not, absolutely do not hire my own bands. 2 years ago, Chris Carr was hired, but I was unaware that Pablo was even doing that until he told me that he'd already hired us. So
Yeah, so it's like, I get what you're saying, though. It's a conflict of interest more than anything.
And I don't want anybody thinking that I'm hiring my own bands, because I don't want to do it. I was almost down to that this year until last Friday night when I booked our last Saturday night band. I was thinking, well, which band am I going to try to get to play? And all the dominoes came together, and I actually hired a guy out of Nashville that I know of that I used to travel for work. And every couple of weeks I'd go downtown Nashville, and this guy'd be playing somewhere. So
that's cool.
He's quality. It's going to be a country show, but this guy plays Hendrix as good as anybody I know.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
He's a fantastic guitarist. So.
Oh man, that's good to hear. I love me some Hendrix. I ended up playing some Hendrix at one of your guys' Rockin'
Yes,
Picnics.
you did.
So, by the way, I'm sure I've told you many times, thank you for inviting me to actually play at one of those. Like you said, you show up. I've always been one of the first bands going up there, and it's crazy to go up there and just be like, all right, it's 2:00. This place won't be that packed, and when it's not that packed, it's like I said, it's like 200 people are already there at like 2 PM, and this thing goes past midnight
at times. Yeah.
Oh god, it's so nuts, and there's so many people just keep flocking in, and it's wild. It's also wild that the parking situation is really nice there too. Like nobody ever parks like really cattywampus and gets weird with it.
No, they try to keep it straight out there. Sometimes they have people out managing it, telling you where to park. But I think we kind of let that go because people can handle it themselves.
Yeah,
they've figured it out over the years.
Yeah.
Just don't just whip in and park anywhere. Keep it lined up so the next guy can.
It's pretty wild how you get a big group of people together to enjoy something, and how smoothly it goes. Because I don't know, it's not like I don't have the confidence in everybody, but it's just also kind of crazy that like nobody's out there messing it up. Because like you'd think like one guy's gonna park sideways or something.
Yep. So if you don't mind, let's go back and explain why we're here.
All right, let's talk about it.
We are here to promote the Rockin' Picnic.
Yes.
The Rockin' Picnic is a festival that we've been having in Humboldt out at Joe Sheldon Park at the Lower Sheldon area there for about it's been 11 years. It's our 11th annual.
Yep.
I've taken part in 7 of them now, and I've seen 10 of them. Mm-hmm. Seen 9. This will be my 10th as our 11th annual. I'm happy to be able to help the group out, and what I do for them is I try to help hire bands.
Yep.
Try to manage the stage on and off, and I also do a little emceeing and promoting while the show's going on.
Yep.
And as I explained earlier, it's such a drug to get up there in front of the people, and I was afraid to start, but man, once I got on it, I can't wait to get up and do it again. But the Rockin' Picnic was 11 years ago. A bunch of guys in town. I could start to name them, but I would only name a fraction of them. A bunch of people here in town threw in $100 a piece, and they hired, I think, about 3 or 4 different bands. They thought, well, let's go have a party on the Sunday before Labor Day. And the stage out there at Sheldon Park has been there for, I'm guessing, a little over 30 years. I don't know. It was built by the Abate Group.
Yep.
For the concerts they used to have out there, the motorcycle rallies, and this stage has hosted Iron Butterfly and John Kay and Steppenwolf and Johnny Winter and Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, dude.
There's been some acts across this stage, and it's been sitting there empty all these years since Abate went out gone.
Exactly. That's such a sad deal just to have an awesome stage like that go to waste.
Yes. So these guys thought, well, why not use that stage once a year? They threw all their cash together, and they threw together what they called the Rockin' Picnic. Well, they took in donations enough to hire bands for the second year. So
that's awesome, dude. And I mean, like you said, that was one of the things that it didn't dawn on me until after I was done playing the second year that I was like, dude, you know how many crazy bands have been on this stage? Like, That's wild. I'm like walking around where all these people have walked. It's freaking nuts. That's
correct.
I mean, like, you'll get that at other places too. Like, if you play like down in Des Moines, like, I played at Vaudeville Muse. Like, dude, there's been some crazy bands been on Vaudeville Muse too. Like that I've got to,
Yes.
But it's still wild. This is little Humboldt, Iowa. We got this awesome, huge, awesome park that. Why is it always so empty down there? I'm playing disc golf down there nonstop. I love throwing, frisbees out there and stuff. But it's crazy that like I mean, it's usually not full of campers, but can you camp during the Rockin' Picnic?
You can camp anywhere on the upper 2 levels. There's 2 campgrounds above there's an Upper Sheldon and Lower Sheldon.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Lower Sheldon, there are some camping spots, but those are already taken up by it's part of the agreement between the Rockin' Picnic and the park board, Humboldt County Park Board.
Yep.
They agree to let us have, I think there's 14 hookups or something like that, or I don't know, 7 or 8 or whatever there is. They allow us to use all of those for our use, and we have campers. We have the committee that most of the guys camp, and that's where they're at.
Yep.
Right next to the shelter house, which is the same place that we do all of our barbecuing and our shrimp boil and things like that.
Yeah.
So they, in agreement, let us take that area, not the entire Lower Sheldon, but just the area where the shelter's at and the stage and all that parking, and they let us run it. It is our responsibility. Everything else around the park, both upper campgrounds and all the lower campgrounds, there's no hookups down there, but we've got guys coming in with campers with generators. There's tents. There's probably about 30 or 40 tents around there in the evening. That's their responsibility.
Yep.
We had a couple years ago. We had some issues with the golf carts, kids riding golf carts. Well, that's fine. Our kids, it might have been our kids. We put the snafu to it, or put the stop to it. But it continued on. Well, it turned out it wasn't our group anyway. So that's what we just ask everybody in the park. Don't break the rules. They're letting us do this for free.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's take care of it. One year, about 4 years ago, right at the very last of the show was done, and I was giving the thank yous to the crowd and telling them all. And I said, "Hey, everybody, look at the ground." And about 600 drunk people looked down at the ground. And I said, "You see that beer can? Pick it up." And literally, I think we had 3 beer cans to pick up that year.
Dude, that's awesome.
Everybody cleaned up, and we've got a place they can throw them.
Yep.
We just ask that we take care of the park, and we thank the Humboldt County Park Board for letting us do this.
Yeah.
All they got to do is say no, and it's done.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. Like, I'm just going to talk parallel to this. Like I said, I spent a lot of time down at Sheldon throwing disc golf, and if there's like every 4 holes on the front 9, there's a garbage can, or every 2, there's one on 1, there's one on 3, there's one on 6. Yeah, so I think there's 3 on the front 9, so there's one every 3 holes, and there's just beer cans everywhere.
Yep.
It's like, dude, they're just going to uproot these disc golf holes
out.
And just be like, nobody gets to play now. Yep. It's going to be such a sad deal. So it's good that they're, it's crazy that, like, coming back to that big group of people that just taking care of their own kind of deal,
And not only are we taking care of our own, we manage what we've got down there, but the park board benefits from this too, because I think for the last 3 or 4 years now, they've sold out all their camping spots.
All their electric hookups?
All their electric hookups are gone 2 weeks prior to the show.
Oh, nice.
I think they've got a 2-week limit, and this is what I've been told anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, they sell out. They make money on their camping hookups. And,
cool.
And the tent campers and that. So they benefit from it. We benefit from it. People have a good time. It's just a free show. It's... this is yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, right?
Yep.
I think it was. Well, this is no Woodstock. This is a much more family-friendly environment. But we try to keep it friendly, and bring your kids, bring your dogs, bring your pets, bring your family.
Yeah, I can vouch for it being a very good family-friendly environment. You can go there and drink beers or whatever you want to do too. Yep. I mean, just don't go nuts. But
correct. We don't have a license for any beer or anything like that. We do have some barbecue on hand that is available for purchase.
Dude, the barbecue is so bomb.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if I wanted a sandwich when I was getting a T-shirt one year, and I was just like, "Nah, I'm good." And then I walked back and sat down. I was like, "Hey, where'd you get that sandwich?" Like, "Oh, it's some sandwich they got up there." I was like, "God dang!" So I went up and got one. But yeah, it's super good.
But anyway, bring your own beer. I mean, or alcohol, whatever you want. We don't promote. I'm not promoting alcohol. I'm saying come out and bring what you want. Bring some sodas. Bring.
Do you have like a bags tournament going last year? Do I remember seeing that?
We also have a bags tournament, and they have about 2 or 3 tournaments through the day.
Oh, cool!
First sign up, I think this year is. I think sign up is like 3, and they'll probably start playing at 3:30. We got people in charge of that. People in charge of the merchandise tent, people in charge of the food, people in charge of the stage. It's all volunteer. Nobody makes a dime, and the only way we can pay for next year's show is through donations this year.
Yeah,
which is the same way we're paying for this year's show is donations from last year. So.
Whether it be like buying a shirt, buying barbecue,
buying a 50/50 ticket. buying. We have raffles. We had a couple of can bins that are donated.
Oh yeah, you got the guitar auction.
Yep, and we have a guitar to auction off that's signed by all the members of each band that's played the show. So
That's awesome.
a lot of things that we've got going on. Like I said, it's the 11th year doing this. Saturday night we started off. We have what we call a little shrimp boil. It's kind of a low key evening. It's not the Rockin' Picnic. It's kind of a pre-show.
Yep.
We've had local bands. We've had Ned Freely. We've had Riddled with Class. Can't even think of any other groups we've had in the past. But on the Saturday night show. But I think H-Town Hooligans or something. I don't know who it was years ago.
I don't know RWC or H-Town or maybe even both of them had played the Saturday night show.
Could have been. But on Saturday, about 5:30, 6 o'clock, we have a shrimp boil. And the cooks, all get it together and they throw it right on the table for your grabbing. Now we do like to take donations for these things. It's not like we're just giving out a free meal. We would like a little compensation so we can do it again next year.
Exactly.
But it's a great atmosphere. Come out and grab some shrimp, corn, taters, cabbage, whatever you find in there.
Nice.
It's some good stuff.
That's cool.
And then at 7 o'clock we'll have a show start. And this year, like I said earlier, I just last Friday night nailed this one down. It's a guy named Tom Buller, and Just Plain Trouble is his band name.
That's cool.
He's got a weekly slot at Layla's downtown Nashville, one of the hottest spots in the world for country music. Bluegrass, Layla's Bluegrass Inn is what it's called. Mm-hmm. He's going to come in, and he's got an album he's promoting. He's going to do all of his new country tunes, I'm sure. He'll do some classics. And like I said, the shows that I saw him doing downtown Nashville, they tear shit up when it comes time to tear it up.
Yeah, downtown Nashville doesn't exactly just bring anybody in.
No.
So it's not just like, not like I'm going to walk in there with an acoustic guitar and be like, I'm here, guy. They're going to be like, no thanks. There's talent there, man.
About a month ago or a month and a half, they had a concert downtown Nashville. It was a tribute to Randy Travis, and they had Toby Keith and Garth Brooks, all these big names, like 15 big names on the show. And the entertainment they had backstage was Tom Buller.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a video out there. He sang a song with Randy Travis. Randy's had major health issues. I believe he had some strokes or something like that. But he got to sing a song with or to Randy backstage with him. And
that's awesome.
And I'm not sure, but I think they told me he played a show out front too. So.
Well, that's awesome, dude. That's really cool.
Hey, I'm trying to promote my guy because I know how good he is. I've heard him probably a dozen times in my trips downtown, and I love a good Strat player, and he plays a telly. The guy's fantastic.
Yeah,
come check him out. You'll find out for yourself. He'll be playing from 7 to 10 on Saturday night.
A Saturday night
again, free show.
Yeah, Saturday night. That's September 1st. Is going to be the Saturday night that this is. No,
August 31st is Saturday night.
Oh yeah. I was looking at the Sunday show here. I'm sorry. Yep. So it's August 31st.
August 31st is the Saturday night show, and Sunday, September 1st is the Rockin' Picnic.
Yep. All right. So the Saturday show is the crab boil.
Yep.
And
Sunday we have the barbecue, the music, the bags tournament. Anything you can think of, we're going to throw it at you.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I might have to check that out. I'm going to admit right now that I'd never actually been to one of the Saturday night shows. So this would be the one to go to, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Come on out.
I'm sorry to everyone that's played on Saturday night and I missed you. I really apologize.
Well, it's like I said, it's a low key thing Saturday night, and we get maybe a couple of hundred people at the most.
Yeah.
It's a small crowd.
Still a lot of people, though.
Right. But with this guy coming in from Nashville, I hope that we get 400 or 500 out there to at least show him that we can rock and roll with the best of them. So
absolutely. I guess let's throw his name out there one more time so everybody can write it down if you want to check it out on your Spotify or whatever right now.
The Saturday night act will be Tom Buller and Just Plain Trouble.
Just Plain Trouble. I think that name sounds absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they're kick-ass. Just come see them and don't have to take my word for it. Just come see for yourself.
That's cool, man. So that's Saturday night. That's August 31st.
Yep.
But there's a Sunday show, and the Sunday show usually starts in the afternoon. When does the Saturday show? You said it was 7 was when the show started, right?
Saturday night goes 7 to 11. It's just one band. We try to keep it low key, kind of do a little bit of a country style to it.
Uh-huh.
And then Saturday, we we ripped the tape off, and this year at 2:00 we broke the rules this year. We don't normally hire a band 2 years in a row, but this guy volunteered last year to come up last minute and had some friends of his come up and played some music. We asked them to come back because they're just young guys. They just want to get up on stage and play music. So they're going to do a 30-minute set, and that's going to be Dawn Patrol, Aiden Hickey and Dawn Patrol.
Dude, cool.
Yeah, I think Nick helped them out last year because the bass player didn't show up.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah, a half hour before they were supposed to go on, I called Nick Earhart and said, hey, dude, these guys don't have a bass player. Can you help them out?
Yep.
And Nick was the next band playing with you.
Yep, yeah. Nick was playing
and
with
he
me.
got there. He says he looked at the set list. Well, I can do all but maybe 2 of these. And he went out and he saved their show.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a crazy thing I had heard that, like, Dawn Patrol, they had, like, just recently-ish formed.
Yep.
Their drummer, like, either just started learning how to play the drums, like, within the last, like, couple of weeks or something. They were so good because, like, when they were just sitting there describing what was going to go down, I was like, oh, no, this might not be good. And they friggin' crushed it, dude.
They were very good. So, and they, I thought, well, if we can give them that opportunity one more time. I looked around local to try to find, a high school band around here of kids that would just want to throw something together, and I strike out.
Yep.
Next year, people, give me some names. Give me some names this year of people I can call next year.
Yeah, that's another thing this is going to be for. Like, this is not only to help promote the show coming up, but if you need people, I mean, I can even bring you on next year, but a couple months prior, and we can talk about it and get the buzz going already. But yeah, it's not always easy to find a band to book. I mean, that goes everywhere all the time.
Like I said, we're 2 weeks from the show, and I just booked my Saturday night act, my Nashville act, 1 week ago.
Oh God, that's crazy.
So, and everybody on the committee is they're not pressuring me. They're just saying, hey, what you got? What do you have? And I said, well, just hold tight, sit still, and it's all going to come together, just like it did last year.
Yeah.
I went from 3 bands struggling to find a 4th to 6 bands in a matter of about 36 hours last year.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
All of a sudden, you call and Aiden calls and the Barrel House Rockets called all within about a day and said, hey, we'll do it.
Yeah, because remember you and I had talked it out briefly. 2 years ago, you invited me to play, and I mean, let's just spell it out for you. You had pretty much asked Three Finger Betty to come play, and I was just like...
I had inquired as to whether they would be able to do the show.
And I was pretty much just like, not family friendly. Like, I'm okay with playing in front of whoever with Three Finger Betty. It's not that big a deal. We don't say anything too profane, but I don't want to just maybe drop an F-bomb in my hometown on a stage in front of a bunch of kids and stuff. It just doesn't sit well with me. It probably wouldn't go over well with you or anybody else in the town. So I was just like, nah. So you had inquired whether or not I could throw something else together. And I was just like, oh, yeah, me and Dan Blair have been playing a bunch. So we went up there with like a little drum machine and such and played. And it went way better than we had expected.
It went way better than I expected.
Like, on short notice, it was awesome. It was really good. I had such a fun time. And so the next year came, and this was when you're talking about, you were in this like weird bind, like, hey, you pretty much told me we don't like to book bands 2 years in a row, but would you like to come up here and help us out? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I could try and find like a bigger band if you would want, and you were just like, oh, just let me know whatever you think, because it was kind of just tossed out there, like, maybe. Like,
and you were quiet for a couple weeks. That's why I started looking elsewhere. And I called this Hickey kid called me, and I tried. At that time, I was also trying to book the Barrel House Rockets out of Des Moines.
Dude, they were so good.
Dude,
we
wanted them back again, but their price more than tripled on us. So
they're so good. It's insanity how good those guys are.
And I fully intend to have them back maybe next year, but we got to negotiate a little better price than what they quoted us.
Dude, those. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about them going into the show, and Jeff Blummel was just like, you're going to have to check these guys out. And I was like, all right, sweet. Like, I'll stick around for it. And that was like, oh, man, I was glad I stayed for that. That was good time.
It was classic rockabilly.
Yes.
And it was fucking awesome.
Dude, it was so good. It was so good. But, yeah, that was like the crazy thing. I was just like, well, I threw a band together. I picked Jeff Blummel from the Chris Carr band for my drummer, and I had Nick Earhart from Riddled with Class as the bassist, and I was like, Dan, you want to play guitar with me again? We picked a slightly different set of songs and went with it, and we decided to go with like a shorter set just to see what would happen. But dude, I had so much fun playing last year too. It's just,
if I recall correctly, you guys were done. I said, you got to do one more, and you had nothing else you could do.
No, that's like, and that was another thing where it's like, I didn't want to play the same exact songs.
Yeah.
So I think I kept 2 songs from the previous year, and I picked up 3 new ones. I wanted to play a couple ZZ Top songs I hadn't played before. I wanted to play a Ted Nugent song, Stormtroopin', one that not everybody has heard or played.
Gots to Get Paid and Just Got Paid.
Yeah, I tried to bookend it with that because I thought it would be funny, if anybody was paying that much attention. But it was also fun to play Gots to Get Paid, and the guy from the Barrel House Rockets, the guy that sings and plays guitar for him, he's like, dude, that's a new ZZ Top song. That's insane. And I was just like, yeah, thanks, man. That was another one. That was a huge challenge to learn how to kind of do little bits of chicken picking. That was my introductory booklet into that, and trying to do that while singing. It was difficult.
Well, back to the Barrel House Rockets again.
Yeah,
they were so good. Hey, I don't follow many bands. I've gone to see them 3 times since.
Oh God, yeah. I will definitely go to one of their shows, given an opportunity. So yeah, if you guys are looking they're out of the Des Moines area. So if you're in the Des Moines area, you want to go see a classic. You call it classic rockabilly. I will agree. It is amazing. Go check it out. It's tons of fun.
Okay. In addition to that, carrying on with the show, this year, like I said, we're opening up with Dawn Patrol at 2 o'clock. You'll go till about 2:30.
Yep.
3 o'clock, we're going to bring on the powerhouse local band, Jeremy Ober and Brutal Republic.
Oh, God.
These guys have been tearing the shit out of this local central Iowa area.
Yeah.
And, Jeremy is he is a fabulous picker. I mean, he can play some heavy shit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And they've agreed to come up and play a show for us. Give us 90 minutes worth of their show. I know they've got some originals that they're going to do for us, and I'm telling you, people, these originals are kick-ass tunes.
Dude, they're so good.
Yep. And maybe they're not his songs, but I know that last time I heard Brutal Republic, they did like Mardi Gras and some other original songs they had.
Yep.
They're kick-ass tunes. Come listen to these songs.
Yeah, dude, they're so good. They played a couple Lone Tree Revival songs. If people aren't aware of.
Well, he's part of that group too, and I think
I absolutely love that when it's just like, I'm going to pick this song from my other band, teach it to this band, and now you guys can play your own version of it, and it's not even yours, and all you're doing is covering a song that somebody else wrote across town, and that blows my mind. That's super cool.
Side note, Lone Tree Revival or Lone Tree. That's Lone Tree Revival.
Yeah, that's right.
They are on the radar. Maybe we can get them to work out a little price with me next year. But
dude, yeah.
Jeremy, Sean.
I've literally missed every opportunity to see them, and I have never been more upset to not be able to see a local band yet. Lone Tree Revival is definitely right there where it's at. Oh, somebody's pointing out the Waylon Jennings. Oh, where I'm pulling up Lone Tree.
Me and Vince need to get together, I think.
Yeah, I was pulling up some Lone Tree Revival on Facebook, but before I got there, I saw a Vince Benishek post, and Scott pointed out that he's playing some Waylon Jennings. So there's a shout out to old Vinny there. He's playing some Waylon Jennings. But yeah, Lone Tree Revival is a friggin' awesome band. So that'd be, it's so sweet that Jeremy Ober, like you said, he's been Jeremy Ober and Brutal Republic. Like they found a trio that has absolutely just been a sledgehammer around the area.
And while we're at it, let's talk about that trio.
Yeah.
They got Caleb on drums.
Yep.
Fabulous drummer.
Absolutely.
I don't know him very well other than as a mutual drummer, but the times that we've been together and discussed things, we've hit it off great.
Yeah.
Great attitude, great conversation with him.
Dude, I had him on the podcast. That was the first time I ever really sat down and talked to him other than once at a bar. And I pretty much don't count bar interactions as
Caleb Ferry is his name.
Yeah.
Very stand-up drummer, great. And
Dude,
he plays the cajon,
so
not cajon, suitcase kit he used to have. Then he bought a little tie kit, and he's got some good equipment too. So
yeah, it's tons of fun to just sit down and talk with him. So
and now the third star of that Brutal Republic band
is Alejandro.
Alex is one of the best. Alejandro
Trevino. It's a mouthful, so you can call him Vino or Alex.
Yeah, we apologize.
Sorry.
But it doesn't matter. You go hear him play, you won't give a shit what his name is.
Dude is so good.
Yeah.
that was another one where like I go to a jam night, he plays before me, and I was pretty much just like not playing today. I guess like I don't even play the bass. I was gonna play guitar, but I was still just like, can't do it any better than that, man.
And he's another guy that I think gets around with other bands. And I think he played State Fair this week with the Tank Anthony Band.
Yeah. He plays with the Whiskey Shakes.
Yeah.
If you've never heard them, they're tons of fun. Their stuff's online. You can check it out. They're down in Des Moines area. But
phenomenal bass player. He went to Berklee School of Music, I believe.
Yes, he did.
So anyway, that's Brutal Republic. They're going to be opening the official opening of the show at 3 o'clock. They're going to play from 3 to 5:30 at the Rockin' Picnic on Sunday, September 1st.
3 to 5:30?
3 to 4:30. Pardon me.
Okay, yeah, there we go. 3 to 4:30. I was thinking 90 minutes, and I was. Yeah, okay, we got it though. So yeah, Brutal Republic. That's gonna be a great time. I can't wait for that.
When they're changing the stage, and setting up the next band, I'm going to have local acoustic player Zach Sunkin's going to come up and play some songs for us. He's part of the Great Lakes Hybrids, and the Hybrids have been a good part of the Rockin' Picnic. They did a lot of my Segway stuff the first 4 or 5 years ago. Zach is going to do a single for us, that first Segway, and what he's going to lead us into is our second band, or actually third band, second band of the full show. A band out of Clear Lake by the name of Grin.
Okay, what do they got?
I can't tell you a lot about them yet. I do know that they do a lot of 80s and 90s covers.
Cool.
Cheap Trick. I think they do some Aerosmith stuff.
Sweet.
Come and check them out. They're a great band. I haven't seen them live, but I have seen plenty of the videos. I've talked to the guys on Facebook and chatted with them. They promised to bring us a full rock and roll show.
That's cool.
And I think they got a couple guys out front that do a lot of moving around on stage. So
good deal.
They'll keep us active.
Keep it high energy. That's awesome.
Right.
They got a big stage to run around on.
Right.
It's not ain't no little like vaudeville muse stage. They're gonna be. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
They're gonna play from 5 until 6:30.
Cool.
At 6:30, I've got a special surprise. I've kind of been working this afternoon, trying to get the Cosmic Brownies,
dude,
to show up.
Sweet.
Which Cosmic Brownies actually saved the show last year. I had an open spot where I had nobody to play the Segway, the acoustic part, and Chris Carr and Jeff Blummel and Bruce Borchers stepped right up to the plate. They're part of the Chris Carr band that I play with, but they were there to have fun, and they all brought equipment. They came up on stage and saved the rear of the show and played for 30 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. Did their Cosmic Brownie acoustic set. I think I have secured them for this year. Got to talk about it with Chris a little bit more, but I know that Jeff's going to be there. He's going to do our national anthem at 3 o'clock.
Cool.
So Jeff's going to be there. I'm hoping Chris comes. Obviously, if I'm booking them, I hope they show up. So,
yeah. No
but they're going to do about 45 minutes, maybe an hour's worth, because our last band might take a little bit extra setup. I think we got some things to hang in the rafters and a little of this and a little of that.
Before we get to the last band, I want to say that it's really cool that you guys do have the here's a group, and then on the side of the stage, here's a little acoustic thing that's going on. So it's not like you have to sit there for 40 minutes while people rearrange the stage.
Zero dead air.
It is amazing how well that worked out. The first one I went to, I was just like, dude, this is super cool. Like, it's just... And, it's just as simple as let's say you got 3 mics on stage, one for each person out front. All they do is they just you guys just squatch all the mics over here, and you guys stand up right over here. A lot of times, like you said, it's acoustic, so you don't have amps and a huge drum set and all this other junk to set up. So it's really nice.
And you can say that's all because of the Rockin' Picnic that does that. That's Mike Wiedemann, our sound man, that manages all of that stuff.
Oh my God,
and pulls it off.
We need to throw a big shout out his way, because he has done such an amazing job. I absolutely love everything that goes on there.
Yep.
It's sound guys don't get enough credit, especially the good ones.
Yep.
Dude, anybody can be a sound guy. Heck, I've been a sound guy at shows. It's not really that hard, but to be a good sound man is ridiculously difficult.
Speaking of that, when the Barrel House Rockets first started last year, their set, the first song, the guitarist thought his amp was blown. Uh-huh. And Mike, the sound man, was immediately up there on the stage trying to figure it out with him. They yelled at me. I went back and grabbed a second amp out of the guy's truck and brought it up to him, hooked that up. It still was faulty. It didn't work either. Turns out that I think it was guitar was messed up or something like that. They switched guitars and it all worked out. But my point is, a matter of 10 seconds after that first just squelching bad chord that the guy hit.
Yep.
Mike was right there on stage. What's going on? Trying to figure it out. And that's what he does, whether it be from the from the monitor situation or the sound out front or miking an amp or a drum mic falling off. The dude is immediately on the job.
Yeah. This is going to sound crazy. I do recall when I went and saw and the Chris Carr band had played that microphone on Chris's amp had tipped over and he was up there, within 30 seconds, he figured out something wasn't right on his board, and he was up there and knew what the problem was.
Yeah, well, that's a sign of a good sound, man.
A sign of a good sound, because most of the people just be like, I don't know what's going on. And then they just lean back in the chair. But, he's a busy guy. He's up there with a flashlight in his mouth trying to figure stuff out on stage when it's dark. Yep. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
And they are there. Actually, they pull in Saturday night, and last year when I went out about 10 o'clock in the morning to help set up, they had everything unloaded, I think.
Oh, geez.
So they're putting in a full 36 hours during this weekend.
Yeah, so. I mean they do such a good job.
Yep, and they're still tearing down at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or 2 o'clock if we go late, doesn't matter.
Yep. All right,
closing the show.
You got a closer.
Like I said, we got Dawn Patrol, we've got Brutal Republic, we've got Grin, we've got the Cosmic Brownies, and to close the show, this is one that Pablo booked. Paul Larson, our fearless leader of the Rockin' Picnic. He put this one together. I wasn't even aware that he was looking at it, but he got the lowdown on this band, got his foot in the door on a great price for them, and booked them. And I think they're out of the Quad Cities or maybe Dubuque or somewhere eastern Iowa.
All right.
But it's an AC/DC cover band called Rolling Thunder.
Oh,
they're going to come on at 7:30 or so and play for about 75 minutes. And hopefully everybody will be halfway exhausted by the time they're done with their first set. They're gonna take a little break, and when they're doing that, we're gonna try to do our raffles. We've got a couple of can bins that are donated. Nick, what's Nick's last name? I apologize, Nick. No, not Nick Earhart. Runs APR. Nick Johnson.
Okay.
I believe he was the one that donated the can bins, and again, I apologize for not knowing that on top of my head. We've also got a guitar that we've purchased that will be signed by every member of every band that crosses the stage that weekend. We'll have them all sign the guitar, and we auction that off. And that is a great benefit for us because we've gotten... I'm not so sure we didn't get $1,000 for it maybe last year.
Yeah, I think that's right. I was last year. I was leaving when the auction started. I was just like, oh man.
We thought $600 the first year was great, and last year was $1,000. And all that $1,000 goes towards. I told the guy when he bought it, I says, "Thanks, dude. You just paid for a band next year."
Yep.
That's great. And we'll give that away, and we'll have a couple extra announcements. Through the night, I might be throwing a few T-shirts out. Who knows?
Sweet.
We'll wait and see if it's in the budget. And then when I get done yakking and thanking everybody for coming out, Rolling Thunder's going to crank it up again at 8:30 and play for another 75 or maybe an hour and a half. And if the crowd is really loud, maybe they'll play till midnight. I don't know. But they are there to rock our socks off. If you know an AC/DC tune you want to request, you better put it on paper and bring it up quick because I'm sure they'll do everything that we know, and if they don't, then they missed one.
Oh, no. That's going to be such a good time. I mean, they could be a tenth as exciting as AC/DC, and it's going to have so much energy there. It's going to be mind-blowing.
If you go out and look at some of their videos, they've got a Facebook site.
I'll have to check it out.
If you go look at the videos, he's got... Sorry, I'm pointing out some wildlife.
Oh, that's classic. I thought you were pointing at the poster.
Down,
stupid. There's a mouse in here. He came back. So
anyway, go check out their site, and you'll see videos on there. They've got dudes that dress up just like I don't even know their names. Is it Angus that hops around on the guitar?
Yep, that's right.
I mean, wearing the schoolboy outfit.
Yep,
I mean, they are a killer band.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. Oh yeah, they definitely look the part. Oh,
there you go.
Snap! This is gonna be good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm in. All right.
These guys, they play the part. The music's pretty damn close.
Dude, as if Brutal Republic in the afternoon wasn't going to be enough to sell me, I'm totally going to this now.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Well, Brutal Republic. What about? Hey, everybody enjoys the Cosmic Brownies.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody's gonna enjoy Grin. I know the people up in Clear Lake do. So.
Yeah, you said 80s and 90s. I like 80s and
Yep.
90s stuff, dude. That's right in my wheelhouse.
Yep.
So this
So
is
that's
gonna,
the-
dude, this
that's-
is gonna be so killer.
That's the gist of the Rockin' Picnic weekend. We've got a show Saturday night with a shrimp boil. We've got a show all day Sunday afternoon into evening. Barbecue on site, bag games, bag tournaments. You can go play frisbee golf. The best part about it is if you're camping up on top of the hill in one of the campgrounds, the music is free. You can hear it up there. I mean, it's not like it's super loud, but hey, it's a great place. The atmosphere's perfect with the trees. You can't go wrong. If you own a camper and you want to camp out and you want to hook up, you better sign up early, about 2 weeks prior. Get out there and get your slot.
Yep.
If you got a generator in your camper, there's room for 100 campers down there. If you want to run off a generator,
All right.
there's room for 1,000 tents, all down within 300 yards of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're listening to this right now, you might have already missed it. You better get out there, because this is coming out the 22nd, and the show is less than a week and a half away.
Yeah.
So you better. Oh man, I don't even know. I don't know if there's going to be any spots to camp left. This is a big event for Humboldt, Iowa, and the surrounding area. There's people that come in from towns around here just to watch this happen.
Yeah. You say it's a big event, and we know it is. It's a great thing. And as the Rockin' Picnic Committee, we know that our purposes are good. We're not here to promote anything, damaging to anybody. We want to have a family-friendly show. Rock and roll is what we're trying to promote. A good time, just a good time playing music. I did a lot of promoting last night. I went around Fort Dodge and hung a lot of banners, a lot of posters. But the one thing that everybody in the committee figures out a week after the show, the majority of the people we talk to say the rockin' what? The what picnic? They've never heard of that. Never. Bullshit, people.
Yeah.
We do this every year. We hang posters all over the place. We put the signs on the highways.
Yes.
If you don't get out there, you don't hear about it, then it's your fault that you're not paying attention.
Yeah, you must have not eaten food or gotten gas
Exactly.
or left your house or been on the internet.
Yeah.
It is everywhere, people.
I think one year we had Lazy River. I think we had about 1,000 people out there for the evening show.
Dude.
Let's go for 1,500.
Dude, yeah.
I'd like to see 300 people at 3 o'clock. I'd like to see 300 people at 2 o'clock for Aiden Hickey and Dawn Patrol.
I guarantee you, if you had a way to tell every person in Humboldt, like, dude, there's an AC/DC tribute band that's going to be baller right over here on the edge of town. It's right on the edge of town. That place will be packed. Everyone knows AC/DC. Everybody knows 5 to 10 AC/DC songs. Like, there's no way you don't. And everybody loves AC/DC.
Yep.
TNT, Back in Black. You know all the words to all these songs.
Everybody knows it. If you love classic rock, 70s and 80s rock, Grin is going to cover them for you. Get out there and listen to them. If you like the stuff that Jeremy's doing with Brutal Republic, he does a few covers too. They are a fabulous local band.
They are insanely
And the
good.
other thing is, you got this concert coming up in Fort Dodge with Chris Young and who's opening it? Some Morgan.
I'm sorry.
I apologize to those guys. Brad Morgan, maybe?
So who was the headliner for that
Chris
show?
Young. It was a country. I apologize for the Fort Dodge people that I don't know the name of this show. But
There you go. Is it this one? Nope.
I think it's Chris Young.
Yep. All right. I can't find the event.
Anyway, and I think they got maybe Casey Musicman coming to open that show. He's from like Northwest Iowa. Anyway, big show downtown Fort Dodge. If they draw 6,000 people for that, there's no reason those people can't be coming to Humboldt on Saturday night, because this guy that we're having is genuine Nashville. Mm-hmm. He plays Nashville once a week. How much more Nashville can you get?
That's it. If you can't, I guess. That's pretty redundant. You can't get any more Nashville than that.
Well, and we're not talking tearing your beer shit all night long. This guy's got a great album. I've listened to it. You can download it on iTunes, I'm sure, or somewhere.
I'm sure it's on Spotify or wherever you like to listen to your musics.
Go listen to a couple, sample a couple, and download them. Hey, he could use the bucks too. So come on out. Listen to Tom Buller and Just Plain Trouble. Come out and hear some Rolling Thunder, Brutal Republic, Cosmic Brownies, Grin, Zach Sunken. Who am I missing? Dawn Patrol.
Dawn Patrol. We haven't mentioned them the last couple times. Dude, Dawn Patrol is going to open the night up, and it's going to be another situation where everyone's going to be so pleasantly surprised with how good these guys are. They can sing good, they can play good, and if they have a solid lineup of people that actually has more time to sit down and practice with themselves, they're going to be solid this year. Absolutely solid.
Yep.
Dude, that's another fun thing is going to shows and realizing people are doing so much better than they think they can. It's like such a great thing to have.
Yep. And that's what we like to do with Dawn Patrol is our example this year. And you guys last year, this is a big stage, big sound, and in the evening, big lights. And if we can offer this to a band, that's trying to start up a young kid's high school band or something like that, let's give them the opportunity, and that's what we're trying to do. This year I couldn't find one, so I asked Aiden if he'd like to come back, and I think his reply was hell yeah. So we're going to have him coming up. What am I forgetting? Oh, don't forget, people, when you do come to this show, and we want you to come to this show, bring your lawn chairs.
Yes, don't forget a lawn chair.
Yeah, you can bring a pop-up. We'll even let you set up a pop-up. It just can't be in front of the stage anywhere. It's got to be around the perimeter. Bring your chairs, bring a cooler, bring whatever refreshments you like to have. If you don't want our barbecue, we're okay. We understand. Bring a sandwich, whatever. It's free. It's come and go as you please. It's a free show, outdoor event. We're hoping that Mother Nature is a fan of rock and roll.
That's the other mind-blowing thing is it seems like every year you have a pretty good situation where you have a really good weather, you have a really good turnout, and like you said, it's free, so it's all running straight off the donations or anything you can make off, like you said, barbecue or the T-shirts that are for the Rockin' Picnic, which I see you have one from last year on. I friggin' love that. I wear mine a lot. You've probably seen me wearing it on some of the podcast pictures, actually.
Yeah, every year we don't donate. We get the shirts and we sell them as a profit. We try to not as a profit, but donation back to the kitty.
Yep.
This is one way that we make our money. We also have some koozies and some aluminum cup coolers.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And I was going to mention the can bins that I'd mentioned that Nick donated. I think they're Iowa and Iowa State.
Dude.
And whoever wins the bid gets to choose whichever one they want. So.
Oh yeah. So if you don't know, I actually just clicked. So those can bins are like the ones you put the bag in, and you throw your cans into them, then you take them to the recycling center and get money.
Exactly. Yep.
And I've seen those. Those are awesome looking, dude. I don't know why it just dawned on me. It's AP Air. It makes sense now. But yeah, like they've made a couple of those can bins for people, and I've seen them, and it's like, where did you get this? Like in town here? Like, nah. So that's how good these can bins are going to look. So that's really sweet.
And he's donated every year. We appreciate that. And there's a lot of local businesses that have helped us out. The Naughty Pine. I know Vinny comes out there and gets us some. I mean, there's an ice cream. There's free ice cream, people. Soft serve ice cream.
What?
All Saturday, yeah.
That's crazy.
And I know that a lot of you guys are busy drinking beer and stuff like that, but for a guy like me, God, that ice cream tastes good at 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Heck yeah,
After
dude.
a long day of introducing bands and hearing rock and roll. So, but Vinny comes out, Naughty Pine, Grombach helps us out, Nick helps us out with he donates the can bins, and there's another half a dozen or a dozen more businesses in town that help us. We do not have a sponsorship.
Yeah.
We don't request or we don't seek sponsorship from a local business because we want to keep control of the Rock and
That
Picnic.
totally makes sense, man.
But we'll be glad to take donations from anybody, and we absolutely accept the help that we can get from anybody, whether it be $20, $10, or a couple $100, or free ice cream, or a machine that we can borrow. Whether it be a lift or a light, because we have to rent lights for the show. We have to rent porta-johns for the show for the weekend.
Yep.
We've got a lot of expense going into this. People think, well, you made such and such style, such and such money this week. Where'd it all go? Well, come on now. I got over $4,000 just in bands, people.
Yeah. Bands, sound guy, like you said, porta potty.
Yes. Like
even though you've got volunteers and stuff, this is not a free event.
Yep. And the
well,
food.
it actually is a free event to the public. Don't
It
take
is
that the wrong
free.
way.
Yeah, it's free. We want you to come, but we want you to help us promote next year's show by giving us donations and helping us pay for these bands. Hey, it's all about spreading the love.
Heck yeah, man. Oh, God. Hey, look who I found on Spotify. Check that out.
Hey, Tom Buller.
Tom Buller is on Spotify.
There you go.
So check it out. I'm gonna check this out as soon as you take off. I'm gonna listen to some of his tunage.
Okay.
So I'm gonna save that.
Like I said, we've got a couple of actually we got a couple big tents that we set up every year too.
Uh-huh.
So if you're afraid of maybe the weather's going to be bad, we do have tents set up. Just squeeze a spot in there and just hang out in there for a while. And if it's too hot, there's shade.
Yeah.
We'll bring it. We'll have barbecue available. We've got the shrimp boil. We do request donations for the food. Just, give what you think it's worth, or maybe a little more if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Help us out with the next one. Like I said, the board, I think the board games tournament, I think grand prize is a set of boards. I'm not positive.
Oh, cool. You're talking about beanbag toss.
Yeah, the beanbag toss. Yeah,
Sweet. So there's possibly a set of boards out there for an award for those for the winning.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. We got.
Dude, that's awesome.
I think sign up is like 2 and 3 o'clock would be a start maybe. Come out and find out. You do not have to make your own team, but you can bring your own team. Was it a kill?
I think so.
All right. You can. We're not going to make you. We don't draw teams this year. I know a couple years ago somebody had a complaint because they got stuck with a young kid that wanted to play and they didn't really have much of a chance to win. We're not going to make you do that this year. You can bring your own team. You can, if you don't have a partner, just hang around. We'll find you a partner. So come out and have some fun. I think it's $10 a team or $5 a piece to get in on the bag games. Barbecue's available. The camping's available. Get there early though because the camping's gonna be gone up on top. Plenty of room on the bottom. What else can I say? I was going to run down a list of bands that I know that we've had in the last few years.
Dude, yeah, that's going to
maybe some of you recognize some of these bands. We had Wild Ambition last year close it. They opened for ZZ Top this last year, or they tried to open for ZZ Top. They did open for Sammy this year.
Yeah, they had bad weather.
Again,
What's the deal with that?
Class of '73 of Humboldt had a group called Lazy River that was a bunch of I think there's a politician in there and a couple of local guys that lived, and Artie Strutzenberg from Mississippi that has played for acts like Taj Mahal and things like that. So,
Dude, I opened up for them like 14 years ago.
At the old reunions, they call it.
Fairground, at one of the reunions
Yeah,
they
at
had.
the Rock and Roll reunion, yeah.
Dude, yeah. I like those guys. They're good.
We had a band last year called the Stockyard.
Ooh, that was me.
Cross-Eyed Mary. Lance and the
Sweet.
guys, they
Yeah.
are fantastic every year. They love coming, and we're going to get them back in a few years, too. Jebediah Stone. Rick Weiss out of Madrid area. He was also class of '73. They do a lot of more of. They did Grateful Dead stuff. So Jebediah Stone,
Nice. Yeah.
Jacob Stiefel was a steal.
Now I remember them. Yeah, I remember them now.
Jacob Stiefel out of Mississippi was a steal, and he came up. His drummer that he brought with him, Christopher Williams, actually plays for a heavy metal band that tours Europe all the time.
I remember you saying this. This was Accept.
Accept is what it is. Yeah.
Dude,
These guys are major heavy metal band.
This
dude was on our stage 3 years ago.
I was this close to booking a gig as the guitarist with the ex-singer of Accept.
Really?
David Reese. I know a guy that knows him, and he's like, I need someone to fill in on guitar. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do it if you come to the States. So that's pretty mind-blowing there, dude. That's awesome.
Yep. And again, like I said, a couple years ago, Chris Carr, we were happy to do the show. Planet Rock. They were a kick-ass band when they were together.
Dude, yeah. That was good stuff.
Wheelhouse was a group Sean Minicus had about, 4 or 5 years ago. They really came up. Him and Dean Davis on drums and Shelley Bodorf on vocals. They were a great band. Riddled with class. How can we forget Nick?
Dude, yeah, no kidding.
They have helped us out so many times. I didn't get you on the bill this year, Nick, but hold tight. We're going to get you on next year probably. 2 for 1, a band out of the Lorenz, Spirit Lake area. They had a guy at one of the guys passed, Joey Wirtz, who played for 2 for 1 and put us gave us a great show for a few years. Tantrum Too Blind.
2 for 1 sounds familiar. I can't remember. Maybe I saw them at one of the shows, but I've only been to a few. So
they were great. They even did like REO Speedwagon stuff. I mean,
sweet.
They were great. Tantrum Too Blind and Scotty Rockstar. He's played it before. Down to Earth. A couple of years ago, we had a band out of Sway City with a lady drummer and a female singer.
Cool.
People really loved them. We've had Farm Rock.
Nice. Farm Rock. That's awesome.
Farm Rock was great because they came out and out in the crowd and got the people stirred up.
I put a little bug in one of the guys from Farm Rock's ear about jumping on a podcast once.
Yeah,
we'll see if it happens.
I think he still drums with him, but maybe I'll give you a name there.
Yeah.
We've had J. Clyde Band.
Sweet.
They tore it up when they were. I think it was 3 years ago. They closed it for us.
That's awesome.
And they did a great job. Barrel House Rockets. Can we say more about them?
Yep.
Dawn Patrol.
Sweet.
5 or 6 years ago, we had there's kind of a nostalgic class of '73. Jeff Halverson is a local guy that graduated then with a lot of those guys, and he plays steel guitar, and he put together a band one year and called it Honky Tonk Review.
Nice.
And people loved it. It was just, good old country music all Saturday night. Ned Freely played one Saturday night. We've had the H-Town Hooligans. We had Beaver Creek up here many years ago.
Cool.
We had a band that I did play for, 50 Mile Fame, and they were good, but the chemistry just wasn't right in the band, and they didn't stay together. Back to the first year, one of the first bands we had on stage, Hell or High Water, back in the Fort Dodge band that came up and did that. So
that's awesome.
And there's about 70 other bands, not 70, but another 20 other bands that I couldn't even think of and didn't have time to go look at posters. But
that's what you came up with off the top of your head. Dang, dude, that's insane.
Yep.
Oh man, and that's not even these little tiny little middle acts that you got going in there either.
Yeah, I never even mentioned the Great Lakes Hybrids. How could I forget the Great Lakes Hybrids? They got me through about 4 years without any segues. I think I had Rod Johnson do an acoustic for me one night. Chuck Seelar's come down and helped me out. I mean, just many people. There's many names behind this thing that you don't hear about. I've got 4 or 5 guys that come and help me. My wife Deb helps on the stage, and she actually plays a pretty good boss. I just run around trying to yell at people up front and yell at the crowd and get people fired up. And meanwhile, she's back there behind the scenes telling musicians where to go and where to haul their shit.
Oh yeah,
and what
if you're coming off stage, put your stuff here. If you're going up on stage,
Yep.
leave your stuff over here until they're done. It's very well-oiled machine on the back end.
Yep. And this year I've got my son Tyler promised to help again, and him and I've got a couple other guys. Pablo's kid's going to come help us out, and the help that I get isn't kids. It isn't people that don't give a shit. These guys are made fully aware that this equipment is these guys' livelihood in some cases, and these are their babies. You can't just grab a cymbal or a guitar amp or grab a guitar case and start walking off with it. You have to. These guys know that they got to get permission and make sure it's okay with the musicians that we haul their equipment for them. Be absolutely extra careful with it. I've got a quality group that helps me on stage. So
yeah, I've been involved with this twice, the Rockin' Picnic, that is, and it's always been amazing. Everyone's always been really. There's always a figurehead backstage saying, like I said, steering you which way to go. Like, are you playing next? Are you playing after that? Maybe you just set up over here, and we'll ask somebody else. And it always works out so great. Somebody's always helps me haul all my stuff to my car. Yep. I always feel bad because you know how heavy the stuff is, but they're always willing to help.
That's what we're there for. We want to make sure everybody enjoys it and has a good time. I made a list last night. I called it my it's the stage schedule, and it started with 10 o'clock with the sound crew load in, and then 2 o'clock with the. Actually, 1 o'clock with the first band, pre-stage, and then get up on stage. Each band's got a pre-stage, a staging, which is where we're hauling them up. They got their show time and then a teardown time. I made this schedule, and it goes down to it's in 5-minute increments at times, because like at 2:55, I'm gonna do announcements and a national anthem, and at 3 o'clock we're gonna kick off with Brewer Republic. Yep. I've got this schedule down. And somebody to look at it would think, well, that's never going to work. That bullshit.
Yeah,
we make it work every year. Yeah. And I've even got a note on the bottom that said to the bands that I'm going to send it to is that don't let this scare you. It's going to make you think that we're we're smoking something. But no, we make this work. And,
Yeah.
if we're 3 minutes late, okay, so we didn't, Mike had some trouble getting some, mic to the right spot or something like that. 3 minutes I don't give a shit about, but we are dead nuts. We've never started a show 20 minutes late or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's you always run into the situation where these musicians are all professional enough where if you're like, you got 5 more minutes, soak it up with one more song.
Yep.
They have the capacity to do that at least, So that's a great thing to have that in your back pocket as far as choosing quality musicians to come entertain everybody.
Well, I appreciate you letting me come out and talk about the picnic. We should have done this about 3 weeks ago, but next year we'll do it a little sooner.
Yeah.
And tell your friends, anybody that's listening to this, just make time to come hang out with us and listen to some rock and roll, have some barbecue, bring a beer, sit and listen, bring some friends. It's just a good time. It's not Woodstock, but it's the next best thing.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe how much fun I have at events like this. I'm not a very much go into public and do stuff in public guy. As a matter of fact, a big event like this with a lot of people usually deters me. But this runs so smoothly. The bands are, bar none, some of my favorite bands. Like every single year you've had a band on there that I really enjoy, man.
Yeah.
So come check this out. I'm coming for Brutal Republic. I'm staying for Granite. I'm staying for Rolling Thunder. I guarantee. I might even show up early and watch Dawn Patrol. I want to see what those guys sound like now. It's been a year since I've seen them.
Yep.
So, and that's some of the fun of this too, though, is being able to see somebody that maybe you haven't seen in a while. Like, for as much as Brutal Republic plays around the area, they don't do the trio thing in Humboldt very often. So this is your shot.
Yep. They do a lot of acoustic stuff. I know Jeremy's
A
played
ton.
up at
Yep.
Rustics a few times. And people, sometimes we get a complaint or people mention, well, that's too long of a day. We can't come on. Bullshit, people. Bring a chair. Bring some shade. Bring some drinks. There ain't no reason that you can't sit in your lawn chair from 2 o'clock till 9 at night listening to bands, standing up, walking around, mingling, visiting with your neighbors.
You don't want to sit in a chair all day long? Go play bags.
Yeah, go play bags. And if you're afraid that you're going to be sitting in a chair all damn day, what are you going to be doing at home? You're going to be sitting in a chair all damn day.
Yeah, no kidding. You're going to be doing what we're doing right now.
Yep.
So.
People say, well, 2 o'clock was too early. Bullshit. Get your ass out here and listen to some rock and roll.
I will have to say, you're not just blowing smoke up people's butts. I played, like I said, I played usually the very first of the 2 times I have played, and it's 2 o'clock sharp. And I tell everyone, we start at 2. I cannot tell you how many people showed up at 4:30 saying, when do you start?
Yeah.
I said, we started 3 hours ago. Like, I am so mad about it. But at the same time, what can you do? Everyone's got a life, though, too. But some of these people aren't like you said, they're sitting on their butt somewhere else. Just come sit on your butt with us.
Yep.
And like you can get up and dance. There's usually enough space in front of the stage if you want to go up there and give them the woo-hoo, you can.
Yep.
It usually fills up a little bit more the later the night goes on. That's like one of my favorite things ever is to see people dancing to music. I don't know why. I don't dance. I'm not good at it. But it's just like, dude, there's people up there and they're enjoying this that much that they got out of their chairs to get up closer and move to it. Like,
yeah, there's no dance floor, but there are people out there dancing on the grass. And I apologize to anybody that thinks I'm an ass or whatever, but my wife and I do like to dance once in a while, and we actually dance up there on the side of the stage because it's a good hardwood stage.
Yeah.
And if the song makes us move,
yeah, why not?
Just don't watch.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one reason I don't dance. But I'm too self-conscious. I don't know what the deal is. But dude, look at this. We got almost an hour exactly on the nose here.
I was worried about getting 5 minutes in.
Yeah, well, that was you and I both knew this was either going to be a shorter one or a longer one, and somehow we managed to come to a very good time. So let's recap the very pertinent information. So you help out the Rockin' Picnic, which is an event that happens every year. It's usually around what's
Labor Day
weekend.
It's the
usually?
Sunday before Labor Day every year.
Okay, so it's the Sunday before Labor Day every
Yes.
year. Okay, so you're gonna have the next day off anyway, so don't
Correct.
worry about having a Sunday show and freaking out about it. Don't be like, I'm making other plans
Yep.
or I can't make it and I know I can't. You're not gonna work the next day anyway.
Right, you have to work Monday is not an excuse.
No kidding. So we're talking Saturday. Go to the show. It's going to be on the 31st of August.
Yep.
That's the crab boil or shrimp
boil.
not crab. Sorry, it's a shrimp boil. Tom Buller's going to be there and Just Plain Trouble. Yep. I pulled some of his stuff up on Spotify, and when we wrap this up, that's what I'm going to be playing. So I'm going to check that out. Dawn Patrol, you said, was opening up the show.
Yep.
Brutal Republic, Grin, and Rolling Thunder,
Yep.
with a smattering of some amazing...
Zach Sunken, Cosmic Brownies. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good, dude. So that's 4 bands plus all the middle bands. You're talking at least, at bare minimum, it's like 7 bands. 7 bands. This is going to be so good.
Yep.
No dead air time. Bags
7
tournament.
bands, people, and you wonder why we ask for donations?
Yeah, exactly. It's not free. And I'll tell you what, like...
Our end isn't free.
Nobody's...
Your end is free, but we just ask you to help us.
I hate how I say that, and then I'm just like, wait, that doesn't make... I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah.
It's a free event to the public. You can
Yes.
show up for free if you want and not do anything. I would not recommend it. I guarantee you're going to have such a good time that you're going to end up... Like, I bought 2 shirts last year, which was some of the money that I got paid to show up to play. So you guys got all the money, not all the money, but some of the money back out of me. So, like, that's how much I enjoyed this. I ended up getting 2 shirts out of the whole ordeal.
Yep. And something we've experienced. Now the Great Lakes Hybrids, every year we pay them for their slots, and every year they say keep the money, and that's what's great. And I'm sure we'll have some this year again that do the same thing. That they simply understand that it's not about getting. Yeah, as a musician, it is about getting paid for your talents. But also as a musician, it's about coming out and sharing your talents for 15, 20 minutes with a large group of people that appreciate your talents.
Exactly. There's nobody out there. That's the other thing. I've never seen a situation where they it's not catcalling, isn't what the word I'm looking for, but there's nobody like berating the people playing music. Nobody's like, this guy sucks. There's none of that stuff. I have seen almost none of that in like the 2+ years I've been playing music. And I don't know why. I thought I would see more of it, but maybe it's just my self-conscious bleeding out of me. But like,
this is my like a 7th year of hosting it and or of emceeing, and in the 6 years I've been there, I have never seen anybody say, "Well, this guy sucks" or "This band's not good" or anything like that. That's just ridiculous to even think that would even come out of somebody's mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
We're there for a good purpose,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing is. We police it and patrol it ourselves. Our committee, our Rockin' Picnic committee, is in charge of policing it.
Mm-hmm.
We do have presence of, once in a while, the county sheriffs come down and the deputies hang around and listen to music for a while. They are completely understanding that we've got control of things. They don't hang around too long if they don't want to. They got a job to do too.
Yep.
But again, they also come down and sit and listen.
Mm-hmm.
So... and in the 6 years that I've been there, we had one. I think I remember one guy being crude to somebody, and one of our spectators asked him to quit. Thank you very much, Mr. Shimon. and Mr. Shimon took a fist to the eye, and within 3 seconds, Rockin' Picnic people were there, and other spectators were there to put this thing to a halt.
Uh-huh.
Now the guy that was being crude was escorted out.
That's good. Yeah, but you're talking like. If there's 10 years and 1,000 people go over here, that's 1 in 10,000.
Yeah.
1 out of 10,000. I like those odds, dude. Yeah. I mean, that's any concert anywhere. 10,000 people, one of them's going to be rowdy. Yeah. But that's crazy. That's only been 1 out of 11 whole years.
Yeah. Now we have to, there's some stupid shit that goes on around the world these days, and you and I can't control that.
Nope.
And you out there in radio world can't control it.
Mm-mm.
But we can do our best to not promote it. And just get through life without it.
Exactly.
And it's all about spreading the love.
Dude, we've covered an hour. I think we've covered everything we need to cover as far as Rockin' Picnic. Is there anything left that you want to talk about at all with me?
I cannot come up with anything.
All right, so we've got it all covered. Make sure you go out. It's August 31st. It's a Saturday. And then September 1st, it's a Sunday. Those are the 2 days. You're not going to work on Monday because that's Labor Day. So come out both nights for the show. It's going to be great. I can't wait to check out all the amazing bands. Scott and a lot of other people work very, very hard to put this on for you. This is not just Scott's doing. This is not just somebody else's doing. This takes a lot of people to make this happen. This takes volunteers. This also takes people to head up and manage these volunteers to get them to go to the right place and do the things they do. So, I mean, we're talking all levels of volunteer work here. Nobody's getting paid for this other than musicians.
Yep.
So this is going to be a great show.
Musicians and sound crew.
Sound crew too. Oh yeah, let's give another shout out to the sound crew because every year it has sounded so good.
Mike Wiedemann does a fabulous, fantastic job. And when the bands make requests that he wasn't ready for, not a problem.
Not a problem
He
at
says,
all.
okay, I'll deal with it. And he makes it work.
Yeah,
so.
someone shows up with 2 kicks, wham, he's got another microphone.
That's
You know,
right.
it's not like it's an issue. You know,
Yep.
the guy's got it all there, so it's great.
You know, and back to what you mentioned earlier about everybody volunteers this thing. They asked me 6 years ago. Pardon me. I asked them if I could help, and they said, "Well, do you know anything about a stage?" And I said, "Well, I can learn." You know, and to me, I've just embraced that, and I was scared the first year, but boy, it's a matter of pride now. I just love this thing so much, and I could go through a list of people that have helped out between. Paul Larson and Gary Malang has helped us out. I think he's kind of retiring this year, but I don't even dare start with names. I guess.
Yeah, because who are you gonna leave off? That's always the worst part.
The Powells and Ted Prenger and Dan Dahl and Keel Zinnel and Gordy and I mean gents. The list is far too long.
Yes.
For me to go through everything.
Yes, I mean.
Jason,
we're gonna have to cut this off right here, just because otherwise it's just gonna keep going. Dude, thank you so much for coming on, joining me, talking about the Rockin' Picnic. I might show up with some portable gear and try and snag some like little mini interviews with some of the musicians or something if they're
please do
if they're like hopping off the side of the stage or whatever, and just see what they got going on.
Please do. I'd even set you up a pop-up tent to do it under if you wanted to.
Dude, I would love it. I would absolutely love that. I mean, even if you give me a chair and a table, like I'll do it. So
we'll make room.
All right. If nothing else, I'll just pick a spot under a tree and you just point and say, go over there when you're done playing.
Well, I hope I didn't waste your time, people, for this last hour. I hope you enjoyed it.
No time has been wasted because everyone is going to the Rockin' Picnic. It is on the 31st if you're going on Saturday night. The 1st is the show. That is going to be... I can't wait, dude. You sold me on this lineup.
Bring extra socks because we're going to rock them off.
Don't forget chairs, anything you want. Just bring it out there. It's going to be great. Free show. Scott, thank you so much for coming on to talk about the Rockin' Picnic.
Thank you for doing this podcast. It has been a very good tool for the local musicians in the music industry. I've missed maybe 6 or 8 of them, and that's simply because I didn't know who it was and had other things to do, never got back to listen to them.
Yep.
But the podcasts that you do with all the local guys that I've known or met, I think to myself, well, I don't know him, but I'd sure like to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, exactly. Because as much as we run into each other, we don't actually sit down and have these one-on-one conversations with each other. And these are the conversations I like to have. And it's weird to be like at a bar or club or whatever and just be like, hey, like, what's your thoughts on this? You know, and this, like, well, dude, we're here to watch music, dude. So, Dude, thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. You know, that was a great episode. Going into it, we were both kind of like, is this going to be a long one or a short one? Because the last one we had was one of the first long episodes I ever had on the podcast, and it was really good. I'm not taking anything away from Scott saying it wasn't any good, but it was kind of a weird test I had. It was over an hour, and we could have gone for a long time. And it was hard not to try and steer the conversation back to him playing shows, but we were here to talk about one thing, and that one thing is Rockin' Picnic. And this year, I cannot wait to go to the Rockin' Picnic. It's near and dear to my heart as of recently, especially since I've played a couple of shows there, and I got to see firsthand what goes into the Rockin' Picnic. I got to see who was there. I sat up front, and I feel like it's a different atmosphere once you share the stage with some people. But it's just crazy. The last couple of years, I've gotten really, really into going to the live music just in general. I've talked about that with a couple of people about how live music is just a little bit better than not live music. I don't know how to say it, but going to see live music, there's just something about it. It's something special. And Humboldt has afforded a really good opportunity. It's the Rockin' Picnic, so come up to Humboldt, Iowa. Check out the Rockin' Picnic. Bring your lawn chairs. It's free admission. Starts at 3 p.m. We talked about all this in the podcast, but it's Sunday, September 1st. If you want to come early, you can check out Tom Buller. That's Saturday night at 7 p.m., but it's Sunday, 3 p.m., September 1st. Check it out. It's going to be Rockin' Picnic, Brutal Republic, Grin, Rolling Thunder, and Dawn Patrol's opening up for them, and I got to play a show with them, and they were good. So check them out. It's going to be a rockin' good time. Rolling Thunder, AC/DC cover band. That is going to be killer. I can't wait. Hopefully, maybe I'll set up a booth. That would be fun. even if I don't set up a booth, I'd like to walk around with the portable recorder and just bug a few people and just get some mini interviews. Maybe I'll put that one out as a special edition episode. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just put it out as a regular episode. I don't know. I've still debated on whether or not to put more than one episode out a week. And if I do, how would I make it any better or different than what I normally am doing? So, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for checking this episode out. Huge thanks to Scott Dahl for stopping by. I got some links down below for you guys to check out for the Rockin' Picnic. Those are the links I'm sharing this week. That's what we're talking about, Rockin' Picnic. And you know what? I got to say a huge thanks to Couchtown Coffee once again. Go check out their website, www.couchtowncoffee.com. Click on the Our Coffees section and find a coffee you like. You can make an order this week and you can save yourself 20% by entering the code word Rockin' Picnic, and that's a ROCK space N space PICNIC, Rockin' Picnic. So that'll save you 20% if you make an order anytime between today, the episode air, which is Thursday the 22nd, and let's see here, that would be the 28th of August 2019. So yeah, if you make an order anytime in between there and enter that code word, you can save 20%. I highly suggest it because it's going to be the greatest coffee you've ever had. So shop local, shop Couchtown, and start your day off with a nice little local roasted cup of coffee. That's how I do it every morning, and I guess it's working for me. So you know what? I had a great time sitting down on this episode talking with Scott. I had a great time sitting down talking about Rockin' Picnic. I can't wait to go check this one out. I love checking out live music, and that's kind of what this podcast is started for, and that's what it's kind of all about. And this is hometown live music. It's local. Anybody anywhere in North Central Iowa, you're welcome to come to this thing. I can't wait to check it out. I hope I get to sit down and talk with a few people at the Rockin' Picnic and see what they're up to. Once again, that's on Sunday, so we'll see you guys at the show, and we'll see you guys next week for another awesome episode of the Audible Farm Podcast. Peace.